The Great Pyramid of Giza, March 2025, where researchers did not receive formal permission from Egypt to investigate or publish their claims about underground structures beneath Giza. Would you like to go further? Researchers claim that they have discovered a vast city beneath Egypt's Pyramid of Giza, where the so-called experts just dismiss it as fake news. Now, how factual is this information? Is this something that the so-called experts can just dismiss and just brush it off? We see that Corrado Malenga and Filippo Biondi led this project. Biondi has a PhD in telecommunication engineering, a true expert in SAR and radar signal processing, and has extensive experience in the field, where, in my opinion, it seems that Biondi is actually much more of an expert than these individuals that are just brushing their research off as myth. We are told that they found giant wells beneath the Khafre Pyramid, which is the one right in the middle. And we all know they all have this going on underneath the sand. It's not just this one pyramid. But let's focus on this one for now. Finding wells using synthetic aperture radar, or SAR, Doppler tomography. This is a cutting-edge technique that analyzes subtle surface vibrations caused by background seismic waves. Now, one of the main things that I wanted to figure out today is, do these people that call themselves experts and simply dismiss these independent researchers' findings, do these individuals have any legs to stand on? Or are they simply dismissing it because the mainstream calls them experts? Because, like we have seen over and over and over, it doesn't follow the mainstream story. This fully challenges everything that we've ever been told, which is exactly why this sort of research was never conducted. I believe that they've completely screwed up and totally forgot that people could access this SAR technology without even being there, where this project used 2 radars that photographed the pyramids, compiled the data into images, and it exposed the 8 wells. Hollowed structures that consists of spiral pathways leading down underground. This was not supposed to be exposed at all, because we all know that this site is off limits to the public, definitely off limits to independent researchers. They are not going to allow a follow-up research team to go in there and investigate further, and we all know why. It would expose what's underneath the pyramids. In my opinion, they know exactly what is underneath them. They know their true purpose. And let's be honest, these pyramids, they were not built to be tombs. Not at all. Egypt tightly controls archaeological activities around the pyramids, overseen by the Supreme Council of Antiquities and the Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities. They are cautious about approving projects that challenge established narratives. These groups are cautious about approving projects that challenge established narratives. And there it is. This project is definitely going to challenge their established narrative, 100%. So we know that one group is hiding and blocking sites off from us. And we know that the independent researchers, they actually used a real technology that works. It's repeatable and it's documented. And they performed a real scientific study. Something that's been off limits to this location, and still is, if you were on the ground there. This group found a loophole and exposed exactly what's underneath the pyramids, and this is clear now. So what happened next after they exposed this? Zahi Hawass, an Egyptian archaeologist and former minister of antiquities, the exact same group that we just talked about, that tightly controls the narrative. This guy, he strongly criticized the claims by Malanga and Biondi, saying they were completely ridiculous and lacking scientific credibility. When we all know, and just went over it, that Biondi has a PhD in telecommunications engineering, a true expert in SAR and radar signal processing, with extensive experience in the field. While Zahi Hawass, the critic and the so-called expert, does not appear to have direct specialized experience in SAR. or radar technology. He lacks formal training or hands-on experience in SAR and radar. Hawass argues because they never went to the site and excavated anything in their lives. This makes their study a fantasy, a site that is completely blocked off and can't be excavated because of the groups that we've talked about, the ones that Hawass was connected with. This isn't working anymore. I believe these independent researchers totally found a loophole and exposed what's going on underneath the Great Pyramids of Giza. And Hawass is freaking out. The Egyptian experts are trying to disprove their radar findings by saying they don't perform any hands-on excavations. So, because you didn't get your hands dirty, that dismisses their findings. It's laughable at this point. It's getting embarrassing. We don't need to go dig with a shovel to understand the truth. And we all know this. We have seen this in episode 102, where they found massive old world cities in the jungle by using ground-penetrating radar. Do you really think they've had this technology to see underground and they never thought to check out the Great Pyramids? The thought process of using a shovel and a brush to figure out what is underneath the Great Pyramids, as well as the rest of Egypt. This thought process is done. You can't dismiss their evidence, their findings, by brushing it off and saying that they never got their hands dirty in the sand. And now that we know that their findings are legitimate, we are going to go further and see that the SAR technology located the cylindrical wells beneath the Khafre Pyramid and detected that they extend approximately 2,125 feet under the ground. And we are just getting started today. Welcome to episode 124 on my lunch break. I hope you're all having a great day. And if you're new, welcome. Let's talk about weight loss. We all know somebody taking the Zempic, or similar, to shed a few pounds. Well, now it's up to a staggering 13 million Americans who take a drug for a disease that they don't have. And that's scary. There are class action lawsuits linked to its side effects to non-diabetics, like gastrointestinal issues, pancreatitis, kidney problems, and even some cancers. I know, we all think we're invincible. Do you really want to risk your health? Do you struggle with cravings, have a slow metabolism, or stubborn fat? You are not alone. The experts at the Wellness Company's medical board have developed a brand new, way safer option to help curb appetite by working with your body's GLP-1 hormones without a prescription or painful shots. Introducing Drop, a breakthrough GLP-1 peptide that targets hormones to assist in improving your metabolism and blood sugar balance, plus hunger reduction. All you do is add a few flavorless drops to your water each morning for serious weight loss, all on your terms. Summer's right around the corner. If you've been looking for an alternative that doesn't involve shots, it's time to drop it like it's hot, minus the needles. Head to twc.health/MLB and get $50 off right now and free shipping. Again, that's twc.health/MLB and use code MLB right now to get $50 off and free shipping. It's time for all of us to be healthy and do things the right way. And I want to thank all of our sponsors over on Patreon. Thank you to FlatEarthDave.com. You can check out his app, the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac app. I'll put the link right in the description. And you can use my referral code, MLB. If you click the Tartaria button, you'll see the My Lunch Break playlist right here. The app is awesome. Thank you to Rebecca Kay, David and Sherry Ferguson, Chuck Templeton, Joy Lee, Stephanie Nolan, the Burlesons, Suez KC, Edwin Rice, Charles Kruger, Don Gaston, Dan Woodall, Dale, DJ Clicktrack, Jacob Law, Jim Ribley and Christine Duggan, Kyle Glascock, BKTFnews.org, Ben Dries NL, Natalie Shippenoff, Melissa Edgar, Biggles, Clayton Lamar, Double Task Homestead, John Adams, Robert Zozolins, The Arnolds, Attila Power, Forbidden Gecko Love, Justin Grobner Grubb, Leah Strong, Dakota Dunn, EdgarT-shirts.com, Jason Hochberg, Marie C., Kyle Logan, Alina and Chris the IT guy, Michael Dingu, Patriot Armory, Tom O'Hara, Michael D. Connor, C3SCOB, Jeffrey Temple, SonyaDane.com, James Alt, Bucksui, Jason Prest, Suki Warrior, We the People, Migs, Mark Chapman, Muji and DeClan, Ariana Oates, Jenica Joyce, Nathan Burba, Ski, Beacon of Truth, Liberty's Arborist, Thomas Thor Peterson, Zinger Coffee and Tea, Kay Moore, DevlinMcGregor.com, Diamond Jewel, David Rauschenbach, Emily Maryland, Felipe, Curious Cat, Mike D, etc., Dan McGee, Lori Hedvig Johnson, Ellie Annie, Seth Craigo, D Woods, Glenn Gunderson, Mousie's Mouse Cheese Records, Robert's Brain is Gone, Extreme Reality Check, Wayne T, Late for Dinner, Eolo Goncalves, Blake, Rick Tapke, Ducks, MDF, TFB, William Richard Jeffries V, Dax Bilchek and Son, Dylan Mugenberg, Leonard Insulaco, Robert Petro, Katz Hill, Susie Q, Yark 143, Sven Eric, Janet Elizabeth, Carey, Kitty Kitties, Making Eagles, GOL, I'm Patriot, Doc Halo, Kenneth Putt, Brenna Fernandez, Paraduction, Henry's Mom, Necrodemonics, A&W Kerrigan, Tim Skin, Rod Wah, Growl-Shaped Beacon, Sweetest of Peas, Corbin Mechanical, Buck, VKH Bonner, The Meta Center Chicago, Breaking Bigfoot, Sean Hupp, Rydian and the Residuals, Road Warrior, Jimmy Jacobs, Bruce Latour, Anna Marley and Nunzio, Codrenth, David and Irene, Al Pisano, Ivan Apocali, We the People, Papa One, Harmon Walker, Russian Madness, Seeking Jesus, When He Set a Compass Upon the Face of the Depth, Laurel L. Burnett, Ivan Apocali, Lucy, The Lady Lacey Show, Shiba Shaba in the Darkness. You guys are all awesome and helping this channel out a lot. 2,125 feet underground, finding 8 giant wells. And this is all a fantasy, we are told. Identified through their analysis of the data, all a part of a vast underground network beneath the Giza Plateau. We already know that Egypt submerged ancient sites. They destroyed so much of Egypt's true history. We just saw this in episode 121. Where they built a dam in 1970 and submerged 500 square kilometers of land, where much of the ancient ruins were flooded. So now they're telling us that radar scanning is a fantasy. No, the fact that they are not interested in verifying the information and just calling it a fantasy, this proves that they do not want to expose the truth. They already know what's under the pyramids. Someone that doesn't know would be shocked, just like all of us are. We want to know more. Someone that is actually being truthful would not immediately dismiss the findings as fantasy. They would, without a doubt, be doing the exact same thing that we are doing. And if we had access to the site, like they actually do, we would be calling these researchers up today and saying, get over here. We want to know more. We want to know what you found. We want to document it all and do it even better. You can have full access to the site. We want to see what's really down there and how incredible the Great Pyramids really are. We want to show the world how incredible this entire site is. This is what you would do if you were being truthful. You would never do what they're doing and say, nope, that's fantasy and that's fiction. So stop talking about it. They never got their hands dirty, so it doesn't count. And then go home and go to sleep. There should be a bunch of teams being formed right now of independent researchers from all over the world to perform an even more extensive project to verify this information. But what will happen? And we'll see, but what I believe will happen is this thing will be brushed off. Nobody will ever be allowed to do any follow-up investigation. No independent researchers will ever be allowed into the site. Nobody will ever be allowed to do a follow-up investigation. And it will forever be labeled to the mainstream as a conspiracy and a fantasy when we have clearly laid out that the individual calling it a conspiracy, a fantasy in his own words, has zero training in this field. And the individual who actually conducted the research is a true professional, a true expert in radar, and it's unbelievable. especially when their findings go further. Not only did they find 8 cylindrical wells going 2,125 feet under the pyramid, below these, they located 2 cubic structures. According to their analysis of the SAR data, these structures are massive, cubed-shaped chambers integrated into the vast underground network beneath the Giza plateau. They are connected to the 8 cylindrical wells. These are the key components to the underground city. And this is shocking because you have to ask, what else is under all of that sand in Egypt? We have always known that there's so much more. We've said this for years now, but I believe that we now have incredible confirmation of this. Biondi and Malanga used Cosmos SkyMed data, tracking tiny surface vibrations from seismic waves, then Biondi's phononic software to map what's below. They say that they can see way deeper than standard SAR, which usually taps out at 10 meters. And they exposed this in their 2022 paper with Biondi's volcano work, where they were able to see 3,000 meters under Vesuvius. So 648 meters was nothing, and called it a warm-up. They've done this already, and they've proved it. I want to drive this point home today. I want everybody to understand that we all have to ask questions. This is how you find the truth. Who is actively searching for the truth? And who is dismissing it? Brushing it off? Who is blocking people off from the sites? Who is actually trying to see what's under the pyramids? Answer these questions, and you're going to see who's on your side and who is possibly not. The public, all of us. We don't know anything 100%, but we can definitely come to an educated conclusion based on the information provided, and that's exactly what we're doing. It's what we've been doing for years now, and this is why I want to verify who these individuals are and what their credentials are so badly. After today, I'd like to have the least amount of doubt in my mind possible about this researcher, Filippo Biondi, where we see that he has a bachelor's degree in information engineering, followed by a master's in telecommunications engineering, and continued on to get his PhD in telecommunications engineering, getting another master's degree in space engineering and international space law. And what does somebody learn in space engineering and international space law? Well, you would learn the legal side of the Cosmos SkyMed, the exact same thing that he used to find this information. He learned the rules to the game. Biondi would know that Egypt can't stop him from using it under the Great Pyramid in Giza. This is incredible. He not only knew how to use the SAR radar, he was taught, he was trained, and he's had a lot of experience in it. But he also knew where he could use it. A treaty from 1967 called the Outer Space Treaty, which was signed by over 100 countries, which of course included Egypt. A massive mistake made in 1967, allowing for Biondi to expose what is going on under the ground in Egypt, where it states that nobody owns it and it's free for all. Legally, Egypt can't stop Italy's Cosmos SkyMed satellite from orbiting over Giza and snapping the SAR pictures. And Biondi, of course, 100% knew this. And this is why Hawass had to address it. Because guess what? Under law, the 1967 Outer Space Treaty, someone can do it again. And this information may trigger somebody out there watching right now to go explore further. Because now you know you can. And this doesn't just unlock Egypt. It unlocks the entire world. All of those countries that signed that treaty, all of the old world sites are now on the table for us to explore. Zahi Hawass critiqued Biondi's work, saying that SAR can't go 648 meters deep. Yet this man has zero formal training in engineering, zero training in geophysics, and zero training in signal processing. Hawass has zero documented experience with synthetic aperture radar, or SAR. This guy is an inspector. He's a supervisor, and he's great with a shovel. I'm sure he could dig a heck of a hole. And who knows, maybe he is a great guy and knows a lot about sports. But when it comes to the credentials necessary in understanding what all goes into radar, understanding Biondi's work, he doesn't come close. And this is now exposed, where Biondi is an expert in radar and SAR. He's an expert in advanced technical qualifications, and his work is tech-driven. Hawass relies on his paintbrush and a magnifying glass, and a great outfit to look the part. Thank you to all of our badge members, all of our Patreons, and every single subscriber. You are all awesome, and growing this channel to brand new people every single day. And thank you to everyone who likes the episodes. We are on YouTube. We're on Rumble. Rumble is incredible. If you're not subscribed on there, please do that after this. We are on X, Instagram, TikTok, and Spotify. If you're looking for even more content from us. You question the official narrative. You dig deeper when the mainstream keeps saying move along. So why settle for coffee that's as compromised as the stories they feed us? 1775's Rejuvenate Coffee is the first of its kind, a bold dark roast infused with CAAKG, a compound studied for its potential to support strength, energy, and healthy aging at a cellular level. As we age, CAAKG levels drop, and so does recovery, energy, and focus. This puts it right back where it belongs. And if mental clarity is your pursuit, their mushroom coffee combines 5 functional mushrooms to support focus, sustain energy, and immune strength. Tools for those who seek the truth. This isn't mass-produced sludge from all the corporations aligned with the very systems that we're questioning. It's single origin, mold-free, toxin-free, and roasted weekly right in Miami by people who value freedom, sovereignty, and the relentless pursuit of truth. No corporate filters, no fake wellness labels, just coffee that stands for something. Head to 1775coffee.com and use code LUNCHBREAK and save 15% right now. Start your morning with coffee that stands for the truth, freedom, and the country that you believe in. At 1775coffee.com, use code LUNCHBREAK and get 15% off right now. I feel like this topic needed to be covered today. We've heard about it a few weeks ago, and it needed more context. I needed to know who these individuals were, what their backstories were, and who was more qualified to tell us about radar. And ultimately, who was winning the debate. Now knowing that we are allowed to conduct another experiment on the Giza pyramids, this has to happen. We need more true experts to do this. We need more individuals that want to be independent researchers, because the system researchers, they're blocking us off and not telling us the truth. And we need to do this in other countries. We need to see what is underneath all of these cities, all of the cathedrals, and under the water. We all know that there's tunnels, and we all know that the tunnels connect to all of the old world buildings. Filippo Biondi and Corrado Malanga have opened up something massive in Giza, with no thanks from Egypt, no permission, and they tried to block them off. And thankfully, they didn't even need Egypt's permission, thanks to that treaty. Using SAR Doppler tomography via Italy's Cosmos SkyMed satellite, all legal under the 1967 Outer Space Treaty. Egypt can't do anything about it. Biondi, a PhD radar genius, fully understanding the radar laws, they found 8 wells 2,125 feet deep, right under the pyramid. Spiral pathways and 2 massive cubic chambers in a 2-kilometer underground network. Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities locks it down and doesn't allow on-site excavations under the pyramids. And then Hawass just tries to discredit the project by saying they didn't do an on-site investigation and calling their work ridiculous, when in reality, it's the other way around. Hawass, I honestly believe that you're exposing that Egypt is freaking out. The way that you acted about this was the complete opposite of a truth teller. The pyramids aren't tombs, and they are something so much bigger. That treaty means that anybody can scan again. And I say that we do. Let's do it at Cahokia in southern Illinois, where in episode 113, we found the Nephilim and a temple 2 feet under the dirt. Giza, cathedrals all over the world, old world sites, all hiding tunnels and secrets. 2,125 125 feet down, massive cubes, and a cover-up Hawass in Egypt can't keep buried. And it's shocking that they even want to. As always, I am open to hearing more on this. I'm open to anything. I want to know the truth. If the truth is that there are massive cylindrical structures that connect to massive underground cities right underneath the pyramids of Giza, then I want to know about it. Could the old world be living under the pyramids, in these massive cube structures? The old world Nephilim, are they under our feet and being protected, hidden from us? What is going on underneath the pyramids? What is going on below our feet? In every single country. And what are the pyramids really? In my opinion, they are technology from the old world. And I'll tell you what, I would bet that they are still operational today.